Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are watching over the last couple of months, you will have seen me construct the three largest bridges necessary for the Keewenaw and Scenic Valley Railroad. For this week's video, I am going to take care of the various small bridges required elsewhere on the layout. None of these bridges took a particularly long time, and they were built over about a 2-week period in between other tasks. So without further ado, let's just head over to the workbench and take a look at all the other bridge requirements for the railroad. Today's project is to assemble the bridges for this scene here. If you notice, there is a double span on the double track main line and a much shorter span on the single track branch line in front of it, because the double track crosses over the road and the stream, while the single track crosses over the stream and then has a grade crossing on the road. Now originally I was going to use this built-up bridge. It's the exact rail plate girder bridge, but unfortunately it's a 72-footer, and the bridge that I have for the double track is two 50-foot spans, so the two are not going to work well side by side. So instead what I'm going to do is just use one of the micro engineering 50-foot spans for the branch line. Well, actually I'm not going to use this one, this is an empty box. I'm going to use one of the lighter ones from the light duty trestle kit that I showed you in an earlier video. Well, I've had the two main sub-assemblies built up and setting under clamps for a couple of hours. I wasn't sure whether I wanted a ballasted deck or an open deck. Originally I was thinking of an open deck, mainly because I'm not really keen on the ballast troughs. They just seem a little bit high to me. But then I decided that more than likely, being over a highway, the railroad would go with a closed-in deck just to avoid liability issues when things fall off. So that's what I'm going to do. It's necessary to carve notches in the bottom of the deck to miss the triangular braces, and that just seemed a bit weird to me that the manufacturer hadn't already done that. Maybe this part is also used in something else. Well, I've now finished all the sub-assemblies for the double track bridge. These are the floors for the ballasted deck. Here's the leg assembly that goes in the middle, and the main bridge span. It's upside down at the moment. I assembled one of the 50-foot girders from the lightweight trestle, and I was planning on using that on the single track in front of it. But I decided I didn't really like that. It just seems too flimsy. I mean, after all, it is a light duty bridge, and although that front track is a single track main, it is indeed a main line, and it will probably be carrying all the same traffic. So I'm going to use one of the full height deck spans. I have a whole load of them. Anyway, I assembled all the rest of the shallow spans from the lightweight bridge. This one I cut in half. I'm going to use that where the branch line goes over the freeway on the upper deck. So I've got two 50-foot spans for the middle. I would have used 30s on the end if I'd had them, but I didn't, so I just took the last 50-foot span, I cut it in half. I cut just to one side of the middle rib, and then on the other end I added a piece of styrene. You can see the white stripe at the end, just to add that piece. So anyway, those are the spans for that bridge. I'm going to use this one for the small bridge over there, and I have 4 more of them which I will need in this corner. I've already assembled the girders for this bridge in this corner. I've got 4 of those. I know there should really be girders down the middle between the two tracks, but I'm just going to go with them on the outside. Because of the curve, I would probably have to spread the tracks more than I would like to be able to get another girder down the middle, and I think it will look better without it. So that's what I'm going to do. And then the only other bridge I haven't worked on yet is this double track bridge behind the trestle, and I don't have one for that. I do have another Walther's single track through plate girder bridge, but I would need a double. So I ordered the Central Valley version of it off eBay. There's not a lot of difference between the Walther's and the Central Valley. but that's the one I found first. Well, I've assembled the last 5 of the 50-foot deck girders. I started off by just dumping all 5 kits into this box lid and then batch building them. Didn't take very long, and I figured there was no point in recording any more time lapse because it's only a repeat of one of the steps from the trestle. So that is all the small bridges done. I just have that one that I showed you that I ordered the kit for yesterday. Well, here is the last of the bridges. It arrived a few days ago. This is the Central Valley 72-foot double track plate girder bridge. I didn't have quite enough parts left over in the Walters versions, and I found this one online before I found the correct one from Walters, so I bought this. Well, I've assembled the 3 main girders. They didn't take very long. I've got to let the solvent go hard because it's a lot easier to do the final cleanup after assembly when I've got a much larger piece to hold. That's a trick I learned the last time I assembled one of these. But something I did forget about is that for the middle girder on the double track version, you have to shave off every 3rd rib to allow for the gusset plates, because I didn't bother to make a separate master and therefore a different casting for the middle girder. I'd forgotten about that. On the Walters bridge they do differentiate, so if I'd remembered I would have bought another Walters bridge instead of the Central Valley. Well, I'm back down here again this morning. I have cleaned up the side girders, put the floors on. The floors are basically just one-piece castings, they go together very quickly. And then while the first 2 were setting up, getting a little bit of hardness in the joint, I cleaned up the 24 triangular braces which have to go on. And now I've assembled the bridge into 2 main sub-assemblies. The last step is to join the 2 halves together and to put the last 6 corner gussets on. And this is the back side of the bridge. This is where I had to trim off the ribs, and really I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. It's never going to notice that I've had to do that. It's not a big deal. And this bridge really has gone together quickly. So far I am only about an hour and a half into it. I'm going to let the joints harden up just a little bit, and then I'll come back and finish it. So altogether it's going to be less than a 2-hour assembly. Well, here is that bridge done. As I said, it took me just under 2 hours. It's not painted yet, but I'm going to do all the bridge painting in one batch. That will be a subject for a future video. Once I got the remaining triangular gussets installed, I could no longer tell which side of the girder had to be cheated. So I guess it really doesn't matter. I haven't glued the tie strips on yet. I will install those after painting. Well, that just about completes all the bridge construction for this railroad. As I've mentioned a few times in past videos, I still have to paint them all. That will be the subject of a later video. I also have some more time-lapse footage from both the trestle and the small bridges, and I will publish those at some point. I'm not quite sure when yet. I've not even started editing them yet. So one day I will just surprise you with them. So I'm just going to sign off here, and I hope to see you again next week. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.